Welcome to another Delia Secondary Lunch and Learn, informal teacher PD every Wednesday at lunch. As we get to the end of the year, today's topic is tools and strategies to support culminating projects and to help students study for their exams. I'm going to start with presentation software, as a lot of our culminating projects include some element of presentation. There's a lot of slide-based softwares that you could use, PowerPoint and Google Slides being the most popular, of course, at the school. However, there's some other softwares that I'll briefly go through. I'll start with Prezi. If you're familiar with Prezi at all, you know that it's a larger canvas that you can scroll around for your different slides. Now, one of the downfalls of this software is it can be a bit more technical in the setup. Instead of just adding slides in a traditional deck, you also have to set up the pathways that will show where you'll scroll around your canvas. On the other hand, what I really like about this software is that you can ground your presentation in some sort of bigger idea. So not just pick a random template for the background, but really have the canvas represent the big idea from the presentation. Canva is a software that's become really popular this year for creating digital posters, but it also has some really great slide templates. Similarly, Haiku Deck, which started as an app but has now moved to a web-based software, has really aesthetically picture-based templates that I find students really have enjoyed using in their presentations. And finally, eMaze, again, great templates, and they have really engaging transitions in between the slides, almost similar to a Prezi style. Now, eMaze, Haiku Deck, and Canva don't really have functions that go beyond PowerPoint and Google Slides, but what they do offer are these templates that students seem to really like. And this comes back to Google Slides not really having great templates. When I was teaching English, this template and this template came up over and over and over. I think we all just got sick of these different templates. So I think why students are going to these other programs is just to come up with these better design elements for their slides. Now, another angle you could take on this is explicitly teaching students good slide design. So in my English class, we came up with success criteria that we use throughout the year for effective slide design. The first is to have a big title, so have some sort of title at the top that's categorized. So instead of having each slide have a new title, maybe there's 3 ongoing themes over the presentation. And the theory behind this is that the audience can follow your big ideas a lot easier instead of having this huge amount of titles coming at them. No walls of text is, of course, a really common rule for slide design, so using pictures in a more effective way instead of just being text-based. And we came up with this thing we called the rule of 2 for font. So this is, you can only have a maximum of 2 font styles, font sizes, and font colors. And I found this was definitely a necessary rule for my middle school students, as they like to make each line a different font style, and they would have all these crazy colors in their slides. Choosing a simple background color or image is a really easy way to bring in design into a slide. So having a simple background picture with limited words over top is really pleasing to the eye and helps the audience really interpret your message as they're listening to you speak. And finally, using matching images. So not taking a real-life photo and pairing it with a cartoon photo, but finding images that kind of go together in a set. And this is especially true when using icons in a slide. So not using icons from all different kinds of sets that don't really go together, but using ones that kind of match. So I went over this slide design criteria with my grade 8 students, and the results were amazing. So as an example, this was a sort of slide I was getting from the students. So this was a global issues unit we were doing in the class. So here there's too much text, the title's not clear, you could see there's watermarks in the photos, and for some reason, I don't know if students think that putting a picture kind of sideways makes it more fancy or artistic or something. But I was getting a lot of that. So after our lesson and our success criteria for effective slide design, we were then getting slides more like this. So global environments, protecting nature and reducing damage to all of our surroundings. And note here how the animations are being utilized as well. So here are some other examples for my students after we did the effective slide design lesson. Another thing you can do as students is direct them to Slides Carnival, which is a template website where you can download templates for PowerPoint and Google Slides to kind of get them on their way if they're not naturally kind of designers. That's some information on presentation software. Next, I'm going to talk about methods to help students understand the big ideas of your course. Of course, it would be impossible to remember every detail about every topic that we study. What's really important is that students understand the enduring concepts from your class. So in another Lunch and Learn, I talked about Mr. Connor's Culminating project using Poplet or other mind mapping softwares, where he had students down all the key ideas from the course, but then make connections between the different ideas. Now, this is a really great way to help students construct what the big themes were from the course instead of giving it to them. And why I think this works goes back to the way that we process information. So using the information processing theory, which is just a theory of how our brain may remember information. So we'll start on the left-hand side with incoming information. This information comes into the brain through our sensory memory. So we're exposed to all these stimuli around us. And if we choose to pay attention to some of the stimuli around us, then this information goes into our short-term or commonly known working memory. Now, this new information is in this part of our brain, but the goal is to get it to our long-term memory so we remember it forever. And to get this information into long-term memory, we have to elaborate on it or rehearse it in some way by doing some sort of extension activity with that information. So if we get new information, are just facts in our brain, but we need to neatly file it into our long-term memory, which is where the concepts are. See this analogy kind of unfolding where facts are like one piece of paper and the concepts are the file folders of our brains. And we need to decide where this piece of paper, where this fact fits into the knowledge we already have. So once we do that, then we're more likely to remember this information. Think of trying to remember all these different shapes all at once. So I give you circle and oval and triangle and square and trapezium and diamond and rhomb, and it's a lot of information. It's information overload. Unless we organize these pieces of information into categories, and these categories can then become concepts that our brain more easily remembers. So I think this is a more advanced version of this categorization activity. So having kids organize information and come up with their own enduring understandings from the course is a great way to not only study for exams, but to be a sort of culminating project in itself. So I'll talk a little bit more about other methods to help students understand these big ideas in the next section, which is on digital flashcards. Now, flashcards, of course, are a very popular way to study. They're probably around when you were in high school as well. And Quizlet is a more digital way to make these flashcards. So you can add the term, you add the definition, and that goes one step further where you can take these digital flashcards and actually play games with them or test them. And there's these built-in activities that you can do with the words. However, just creating these flashcards is still just facts. We haven't really taken these facts and made them concepts in our brains. So in order to get these facts into our long-term memory, which is where our concepts are, there's some other things we could do. For example, with the Quizlet cards, once you create them, they're actually quite easy to print. So you could print them off and then have students organize these key ideas from the course into different categories. For example, oh, well, this type of plate movement is related to the different plates we have in the world, and temperature and precipitation is definitely related to weather. And so you can start grouping these random facts into categories to hopefully have a deeper understanding of the course content. Similarly, many of our lessons are on Google Slides, and students have access to these lessons. So what you could have students do is create their own sort of study notes from your lecture slides that you've given them. So they could take key slides from all the different lessons and copy and paste these slides into one slideshow that then becomes their own visual study notes. And what's great about this is they're studying the information in the same format they were originally given it. So it helps trigger the memory and helps them remember these concepts that you went through as a class. Google Slides are easily printable as well, so you could do the same activity I just mentioned with the Quizlet. Print out all the slides, organize them into different groups, and hopefully come up with some overarching concepts or themes from the course. Similarly, YouTube Editor is a great way to make video study notes. So what you can do is piece together bits and pieces of YouTube videos in this editor that's built right into YouTube. So if students are studying something like the solar system, they could find different videos, take what they thought was really important parts from all different videos, piece it together into one running video, and then they can easily just re-watch this video over and over on their phones when they're on the MTR or in class and really be immersed in that content. So digital flashcards are not just flashcards that are now digital. Let's go one step further and really utilize this technology to help students study for their exams. So that's all I have today. Remember that the best way to understand a concept is to explain it to someone else, so ensure you're also including very social opportunities in the studying process. And that's it for tools and strategies to support culminating projects and exams. Anyone that attended got 50 points for the Delia Tech Challenge, and I hope to see you next time for Delia Secondary Lunch and Learn, informal teacher PD every Wednesday at lunch.